Hello, everyone, and welcome to our episode 4 of Disruptive Tech Innovation. My name is Adam O'Dwyer. So this, if you've watched the other two videos, so this is a third, or I guess you could say 4C video for today. As I've mentioned in the past, I seem to just not be able to do an 8 to 10 minute video. When I looked at all these things I wanted to talk about this week, I knew there was no way. As it turns out, when I did the Tesla sections of most of these up here, that was probably already 20 minutes. I then just finished off my my artificial intelligence discussions, and so now this third video of today is going to be, of course, about blockchain. So first, as I mentioned, not only am I splitting this up into new formats, but also if you want to get a little more in depth of the trends for this month, this week as a high-level summary, then watch the first of the three videos for today, episode 4A. I'll try to label them for A, B, and C. And I'm going to try to probably do this going forward, unless for some reason, maybe there's a week with not a lot of information, which there always is with Tesla and blockchain. But maybe somehow try to either talk faster, crunch it all, or figure some way to summarize it. Maybe I'll do like some of the other guys do and do some clips some way. So anyway, I mentioned in the other videos that I finally put together for myself today a website. It's nothing major whatsoever. I just used the GoDaddy capabilities, but it's really just as a starter, just have a sort of a landing page to reference maybe business cards or whatever, different things. Maybe over time, obviously, I'll build upon it. And in the end, both of these go-to buttons really actually just go to this channel. So so if you want to look at it, just a tiny bit of information there. But more importantly, sort of if you want more information, feel free to fill this out, ask me some questions, and I'll be happy to talk about those in future videos. Or feel free to critique me if you don't want to do it on the channel here. Then feel free to shoot me a message here of, hey, I don't like your format, I don't like your fan going in the background, we need a better picture of that silly little tiny picture I threw up there for now. I don't like your shirts you wear, whatever you might be. You're too loud, you're too soft, whatever. I welcome any critique, any questions, whatever you might be looking for. All right. So again, video 1 for today had a lot more detail on the summary and high level of technology innovation. I talked a lot about Tony Seba and stuff here, so a lot of good information there. So I highly recommend you watch those as well. All right, so let's get right into blockchain, and of course, I always start off with Bitcoin. So this week was a pretty interesting week. We had, as we mentioned at the end of last week, the coronavirus really kicked into gear. I did want to actually show, there were two videos on Apple TV. I searched for coronavirus or something like that. And the first two videos were actually really, really good. One was sort of getting into from an analyst, a reporter that lives in China, who actually talked about that coronavirus being almost identical to SARS, literally from the same market, food market as SARS was. And he talked about how SARS, it was about 10% of the people had passed away from that, and it was it was new. This being a new virus as well, nouveau coronavirus or whatever. But he talked about that only 2% of the people out of, I think, 10,000, about 216 passed. But what he said is those people already had weak immune systems or whatever. They were elderly. They already, they would have maybe passed from, a cold or flu or something as well. So he was talking about that. They say it doesn't seem to be nearly as bad as the last. It's still very scary, very important. Of course, people are passing away. But they're saying it's a little different, not as bad, but who knows? It could get worse. And then there was another video that also talked about the details of the coronavirus itself and maybe how it spreads and stuff. So highly recommend you watch that. So the point is a lot of discussion is that some of the movement, when I started getting into Bitcoin, purchasing, at a decent amount anyway, many years, but haven't really started investing until, this year, the past year. But so lately it's, it was getting in the 8,300 range, 85, 86, and pretty much in the last week it shot up just over 9,500, I think about 9,550 or so, whatever. So it's pulled back a little bit. So it's been up and down, as you can see, for this past week. Oh yeah, here's where it was up around 95 and change. So great. A lot of discussion on the potentials getting there. And let me see what I said on the trends. So the Bitcoin halving is just also a major trend happening with this the coronavirus and that. And the other big pieces here are large, central banks, large businesses, institutions, governments are all really talking more and more about this. So there's a lot of exciting news. So let's get right in. So if you watch the other video, you talk about how I really follow some of these core guys, Tesla Daily, Galley over at Hyperchange, and then also Jeremy over at Financial Education. Those are my two core guys. I watch everybody else, love it all, but I definitely absorb a lot of what these guys say. I talked here about Lex and some of the other guys, and then so over here my go-to guys are Digital Asset News, as well as DIY Investing, The Modern Investor, Altcoin Daily, and was this? Yeah, he was altcoin as well, and some of the others. Let me see if that was just another fun little story. All right, so Digital Asset News. So again, just like on Rob for Tesla Daily Podcast. So he does a daily news article every day. Let's see, they're not all showing here, but anyway. So a lot of really in-depth information, great material. So he's talked about here this goal. I wanted to point out some of these. So he talked about Goldman Sachs former executive has been talking about Bitcoin being a bombshell, and the article goes on about how he is talked about how obviously he's been in the industry, he still has a lot of friends, and everybody's talking about Bitcoin, everybody's talking about blockchain or cryptocurrency, digital asset. So really there's a lot of chatter out there, and so this was just a great this is the kind of thing that I'm saying. A lot of central banks, governments, large institutions, large companies, rich people, there's a lot going on, so a real lot of chatter. So where I keep saying that to me the convergence of Tesla technologies, artificial intelligence, and blockchain, are all telling the same story of massive opportunity, massive disruption, massive transformation, massive innovation. I love these three areas. To me, Tesla's using artificial intelligence definitely through autonomous and a lot of other things. I believe someday they will use blockchain at some point. They can't not. And vice versa, of course, artificial intelligence is feeding a lot of it, and there's a little bit of synergies there as well between artificial and blockchain. So again, some great stories. Talked about also some XRP stuff, and of course, all week long they're all talking about the different capabilities. I did not watch that one yet either because I've been getting ready for this. All right, so next, DIY Investing. I've talked about him. How he just does some amazing, really in-depth analysis on, charting. I've mentioned him in the past. Just again, really great information. Highly recommend it. So one of his videos, he was here. I forgot which one. I think these coins will 10x. So he's talking about chain leaks and basic attention token. On these, but obviously he talks about XRP, he talks about all of them. He's he has a few, and he's really all in on blockchain, cryptocurrency, digital assets. So obviously some of the other guys like Jeremy for Tesla and the other investments, he's talks about a lot of other good companies. The analysts, the proper advisors know to, be broad, do dollar cost averaging, do things like have a broad portfolio, don't just invest in one area. And I'm not saying that he isn't doing that here, but he's definitely all in on digital assets, because he's looking at the charts and he's seeing that everything is just really, just watch his videos, he's just outstanding. And he's talking about, everything's on the dip right now, and so there's a lot of low risk for that upward potential. And the big thing about that is, as I said, with Bitcoin halving coming soon, let me think who one of these guys I talked in one of the other videos. I can't recall if it's him. One of these guys that really talked on the analysis about that potential, and how, I think it might have been him, and how to take your to have an exit strategy. I think it might be him. To have a nice exit strategy, and that with the potential coming up, that you might only have about a month time period from the peak to where the dip starts happening fast. And so it's when to calculate and when to know. So I think I've mentioned, take a look at one of my other videos. I've mentioned it, but if not, then go through some of these, definitely guys. These guys are just amazing. All right, so the next one is the Modern Investor. Same thing, a lot of just really great in-depth. I think he's probably the one that also is, they all are. But he also gets into a lot of really good, he explains a lot in detail. Some of these guys might, talk about a lot of articles that they're reading, and literally just go through the different articles about, what they read and what they're saying, and even gives some of their own thoughts, which is awesome, because they've been doing this for many years and they have really good perspective. And it gets back to the other video I talked about Tesla, where these institutional analysts in many cases have no clue, because all they do is everything based on the past. And a lot of these, as they're called, as we are called, retail investors or analysts on these channels, they really know what's going on. They've been into it very deeply. They know all the trends, and they are just knocking it out of the park compared to these, so-called institutional investors. So, definitely watch a lot of these guys' videos. They're very good. Explain a lot about Cardano. They'll talk a lot about all right. So he's the one with the scams. I forget some of their names. This might be Austin. But every one of his videos, he talks about the scams. I mentioned it in my last video last week, where he has a spreadsheet. Let's just click on one of these. I think I have a commercial. Yeah, we'll do a little commercial. But anyway, he talks about how he does every one of the videos. He does a little bit about some of the scammers going out there that are trying to corrupt this industry with their selfish scam methods, but that we all need to help each other. So he has a good link in here, it might be in here somewhere, where he's talking about, you click on, on his spreadsheet. Yeah, this might be it here. I can't recall. But anyway, so watch these guys' videos. A lot of great information. Here he's talking about this hack was really good info. The Ethereum and the Bitcoin. This was another little scam that he was talking about as well. Separate. These are two different scams, separate from what he's been doing with his spreadsheet. So again, watch these guys. Did I leave notes in here? No, not in that one. Okay, so then let's get into, all right, so one of the things that he was talking about, that he was explaining in some of these videos here, some of this other news, that the United States, so this senator, congressman, was asking a woman, and I think I messaged one of these guys because they didn't say their name properly, Miss Tatro, if I recall her name was. So anyway, they, he was able to show the full video, and looks like it wasn't an issue showing the video, but well, not the full, but he showed a good amount of the discussions that they had. with this Mr. Emmer and Miss Tatro, where they're talking about a good number of the Bitcoin and altcoins. They didn't just name. They named about, I think it was 5 or 6 if I recall. But the knowledge, the point is, they're all talking about it. They all have a pretty decent, well, relatively speaking, decent knowledge. They're going to experts like this woman here, Miss Tatro, and asking a lot of very good questions. So again, the potential is here, the opportunity is here. Do your research. Watch these guys; they know their stuff. I will summarize a lot of this each week and get into more details on some of these. But really, really good information. But again, I don't want to give too much detail because I want you to watch their videos. So I maybe summarize stuff, but you watch their videos. Give them the credit for the hard work they're doing. Like and share all the things that they're doing as well, because they spend a lot of time doing a lot of this work. So again, they're always doing a lot of good, reading, analysis, giving commentary, a lot of great information on these guys. All right, what was this? All right, here was another one of the stories that I think one of the guys referenced this page, this story. So I'll have that in the link here. So Casper won't be the one, but yeah. So there's some IPOs. I think this one might have been for XRP. I can't recall, but I will put a link into this story as well. But there's a lot of good information here as well. Okay, so here was a nice, fun little story. This wasn't, I'll just kind of add on to this. It was talking a little bit about, neurons in the brain. So I was kind of first looking at it as some artificial intelligence material. But in the end, it ended up being a nice, fun little story that he was connecting different, this equation to how things relate with fluid convection neurons, the Mandelbrot set, and rabbits and things. So nice little video. I'll just add that at the end. Nice fun little video. I might want to watch. Okay, so with that, again, I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully you were able to learn some information. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Again, I started this because a lot of my friends know I'm into this. They see my excitement, my passion, so they want to know a lot about it. I always tell them I'm not a financial advisor, so take what I have to say and go to your own advisor to learn more. But the opportunity is tremendous here. These 3 core areas, Tesla-related technologies, blockchain, and artificial intelligence, are really the future. They're going to happen fast. Get into these now. Learn a lot. Start investing. Jump into things like I've mentioned here about the Robinhood app or some of these crypto apps that I've mentioned in my video. I always have in the description some links to those. Click on my link, give me a little bit of credit. Like Robinhood, you click on my link, you'll get a $5 one share of about a $5 stock. I'll get one too, whatever. Helps both of us, tiny bit, but share that with your friends. One of my friends recently just did it the other day, and she's starting to invest because she sees this potential. And again, she's going to her own advisor, but we talk about this a lot. And some of these apps, I also have in there my Tesla link. If you're going to buy a Tesla, to click on that, you get 1,000 miles of charge. But otherwise, again, we're a great opportunity. Like, share this with your friends, and hopefully we can all be in a better space in the near term. Okay, thanks, and have a great day.